This is Straight Talk with it clever native Greg Fann, the preacher man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the preacher man.
To another edition of Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the preacher man, and Shanan E. Jones. As you can see, Shanan is off site. I'm off site. We all both are off site. And I'm going to give you the weather report today. The weather outside looks good.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I think
my
about
goodness,
this, Shanan,
you're 21 all over again.
Hey, man, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm just telling you, I'm just grateful to have the help and strength and the right mind, and you know, and being able to move. You know, and it's a wonderful thing. It really, really is. And I do want to say this in terms of celebrating my birthday today. I've gotten so many calls, and from people in Texas, from people saying happy birthday. And I really do appreciate, people caring about you to even do that. And thank you, Shanan, for calling and not singing. I appreciate you so very, very much. But thank you for wishing me a happy birthday.
Well, I had I knew this lady once, and, she say she don't want to tell nobody her age. And, so one year I said, happy birthday, and she said, oh, goodness, yeah. She said, just getting older is something else, I don't like all this old stuff. Yeah. The next year, she wasn't there for me to say happy birthday. She was gone. She didn't want to celebrate it. So the message in that story is tell people how old you are and thank God for every year that he gives you. Don't start telling the Lord that you don't want to get old, that you don't want to grow old and grow in wisdom. She said, this old business, I don't want to get old. I don't want to get old. I don't even tell nobody how old I am. And next year, I couldn't even call her to say happy birthday. She was gone.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have lived as long as God has allowed me to live with my reasonable health and strength, and my family, my kids, my wife, and all of that. In my church family. It's just a blessing, though, Shanan. It really, really is. And I'm just grateful to God. I'm grateful to God to give me the opportunity to even be here with you to do this program each week here on Straight Talk. It's just a blessing.
I thank God for it. I thank God for you. I thank God for you and this 83rd birthday of yours.
Well, not 81st. I haven't quite reached that yet.
83rd, I thought it was 83rd, right?
No. It's 73 for me. 73 for me, not 80.
73. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
73.
Well, amen. Amen. Happy birthday. I'll be able to say happy 83rd in 10 years.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I'll be able to say happy 83rd in 10 years. Good block don't crack. So I had you up there at 83, 93, 103. I didn't.
I pray to God.
I knew it was a 3. I just didn't know what came before it.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't 53 or 43. I knew it wasn't that.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going a little too far to the left now. but I'm grateful to God that He's allowed me to live to be 73, and I look forward to that 73 with my health and strength and right mind. But right now, we know what we're going to do. Right now, we're going to stop right here now. And thank all of our viewers and those who send us comments. Keep those comments coming. Keep sharing. We appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel. Like us, as Miss C says. Continue to make those comments and do share. This week we have a very good program. As always, our programs are pretty much always good. People talk about how informative we be and giving out a lot of information. People still talking about that 2025 project, Shanan, that we talked and shared with Brother Rick other week. People just didn't know. They didn't know what they didn't know. And so this week we're going to be talking several things. We're going to be talking about the new Speaker of the House and the Republican Party and what they're doing. We're going to talk about those individuals who have pleaded guilty with Donald Trump in that case, and the voter scam case that he tried to do here in Georgia, and D.A. Willis and her staff and this fine job that they're doing. But also we're going to talk about what's going on in D.C., in New York with the case with Donald Trump. The dominoes are falling. And then Mark Meadows and his getting immunity to testify against Donald Trump. Got a lot to talk about today. Shanan and I will be back after Miss C, and we'll have all that talk and information for you right after Miss C. Miss C?
Your 3-minute news blast or more. Hey, Bishop Greg. Hey, Pastor Shanan. If y'all wonder why I'm laughing, that's because I just got through talking to Greg Fann as he told me what to tell you all, okay? And it was wonderful talking to you, Greg. I see y'all over there. Anyway, I got a little news to tell you, but anyway, I had Greg told me something funny. He's a real funny person. But anyway, this is what I got for you today, okay? Grant writing and MPO development intensive workshop will be held from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on November 17, 2023 at the Douglasville Conference Center, 6700 Church Street in Douglasville. Topics to be covered include finding and winning grants, harnessing AI in grant writing, human resource tips for NPOs, marketing and social media for NPOs, logic model development, developing a master proposal, and how to obtain your 501c3 status. To get more details, you can log on to www.socialarchitectllc.com. That's socialarchitectllc.com. And listen, while I'm talking about Greg Fann, the preacher man, I want to wish him a happy birthday. October 26th was his day, and he turned another year. In his case, he turned 2 years. Anyway, the 29th anniversary musical honoring Reverend A.L. Zollkoffer and Stephanie Zollkoffer will be held Sunday, November 12, 2023 at 2 p.m. at the New Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, 1251 Villa Rica Road in Marietta. This anniversary musical will feature Harold Holloway and Company, Joseph Robinson and the Chosen Aggregation, and Reverend Thomas, formerly of the Violinaires. The admission is free. Call 678-683-8125 for more information. I remember back in the day when I was working for WYZE, those groups, they always were performing somewhere. So that's going to be a pretty good show because you're getting some veteran gospel singers there. All right. Flipper Temple AME Church at 580 Atlanta Student Movement Boulevard, and in conjunction with the Spelman College NAACP, invites you to join them for Trunk or Treat, October 31st, 2023, from 4 to 6 p.m. Join us for an event which will offer kids a safe space to be a kid. Call 404-522-5020 for more information. Reverend Gregory Eason is pastor. Now, I'd like for you to do 4 things for me. I'd like for you to subscribe. I'd like for you to like us. Please like us. And I'd like for you to share us. Do not keep Straight Talk News to yourself. Let everybody know about Straight Talk News, okay? And then leave us some comments, number 4. I'd like for you to leave us comments and let us know how we're doing. Let us know what we can do for you. And listen, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness, I have on my Stand Up to Cancer shirt. And this is, October was the month of celebration of breast cancer survivors. And I'm wishing everybody that has had cancer or has cancer, that I pray that God is with you and will be your comfort and strength. Okay? And in the meantime and in between time, may the Lord God bless you real good. Mwah. Bye now.
Well, Miss C, you're good as always, but I'm going to tell you something, Miss C. Now you cracked on me, and you're talking about my birthday, and you're talking about, you know, how old I'm getting, and all the things that you said about me. That was derogatory. I just want to let you know it was derogatory. You try to make it sound like it wasn't, but it was derogatory. But that's all right, Miss C. That's the way you do me. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing you ever since you was 15 years old, and now you up there with me. So happy birthday to you
I know
too.
you ain't
Hope you
trying
end
to
your
tell Miss
birthday with
C's
having a
age. Now
butt.
you done gone too far. Now
No,
you done gone too far.
no,
Now
I
you
ain't
trying to
gone too
tell Miss
far. I just
C's
got to
age.
Miss C, and this
And
is
Miss C
Miss C.
ain't as old as you. She ain't as old as you. Don't be trying to tell Miss C she ain't as old as you. Don't be
Man,
out there.
let me tell you something. I've been knowing Miss C. We would have graduated from school at the same time. However, Miss C, I've been knowing Miss C just that long. So if I'm this age, then how old you think Miss C is? Well, all right, let's get into it. Let's get into this conversation. But let's start off with the most recent thing. The Speaker of the House, Shannon. The Speaker of the House. Let's talk about that first. Mr. Mike
Mr.
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah, in this Republican madness, really, they didn't want Jim Jordan. I guess because he didn't wear a coat. He just wore a shirt and a tie. But this Mike, he wears a tie. He's all in a suit, looking all polished and everything. But he is the perpetrator who tried to overthrow the election results. He is the one that's against abortion. He's against several different things that a lot of people are for, Shannon. And he wants to do away with Social Security for senior citizens like myself. Really? Man, I tell you, but look like they still on the track and they're still listening to their leader, the MAGA leader, Donald Trump. So they selected someone that's still going to carry out the will and the agenda of Donald Trump. Going back to Project, 2025?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he is the face of, or he is the product of the face of the new party. Donald Trump is the face of the new party. Mitt Romney, if you've missed it, they're giving several interviews. He's just got a new book out. I have not purchased the book yet. It wasn't sent to Straight Talk for us to review it. But I'm going to check it out and see what he's saying. But I've been listening to his interviews, and basically he's saying that the Republican Party has left. It left him. It's left Reagan. It's no longer the party of Reagan and Nixon and others, and that it's become a MAGA party. And so he's the product of MAGA. Um, he still has some I mean, some of what you described, ultra conservative views. But MAGA went a little further than ultra conservative. So it's going to be interesting. But he's only been in the Senate for about 6.5 years. Excuse me, in the House for about 6.5 years. And that's, generally you don't get a committee assignment before at least a couple terms, especially a major. But to be the Speaker of the House, that's a lot of weight to carry, Bishop. Particularly, we've been in that Capitol so many times, and we'll be back there fighting for some other issues in days and weeks to come. And that's a big place, and you don't want to speak and don't know where the restroom is.
One of the things that we need to emphasize about the speaker and his role, this particular individual that was selected, he had all of 220 to vote for him, and those ones who would say that they were not for the MAGA party or the things and the views of the MAGA party, they voted with him, voted for him. The ones that's in New York that voted for him, that were in Biden districts or Democratic districts who have to run, it's going to be very interesting to see how the House may flip next year. But a lot of damage can be done before next year. And then you have all of these different areas like Alabama and a lot of these states that are redrawing their lines because they gerrymandered. And we had a section on gerrymandering too. You remember we talked about gerrymandering, right? So here they are. These states are going to be redrawing lines so that there may be more Democrats elected to those seats in 2024 versus going into 2025 than Republicans. But then we need to understand what the Democrats' position is on issues as it relates to and their message on their platform as it relates to the people. Do they still support Social Security? Do they still support certain things that many of the people believe in? As always, I'm neither Republican or Democrat, but I certainly have leaned to views that more leaning toward taking care of the people versus taking care of the 1%. And certainly that's where I lean. That's the side that I lean on. But you know, we're gonna leave the speaker's seat alone, Shannon. But I think it's time now for us to come home. Thrice throne. It's time for us to come home. It's time for us to come back to Georgia. Boy, it's a lot happening here. There's a lot happening here in Fulton County.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Jesus.
Oh goodness,
Shannon,
oh
you want to
goodness
talk about?
gracious.
You want to peel that onion?
Well, I mean, let's just start with these attorneys are jumping, taking pleas faster than an egg could fry on a hot summer sidewalk. I tell you, it's amazing. The interesting thing is that you got all of these attorneys that if I had known what I know now, I would have done it. And you got Cheeseboro, and the interesting thing is that if the attorneys are pleading guilty, then ultimately, if your attorney pleads guilty, then any counsel that attorney may have given you or anything that they may have rubber stamped for you, you might be guilty. You're going to be guilty as well. And so it's quite funny to see those who have cut these deals, because right now, Fulton County DA's office is giving sweet deals, allowing people to plea and get out of there. But there's going to be a few that are going to try to take this thing all the way to court. And that's going to be interesting. I think we're going to see some folks possibly get some jail time. And, it's quite interesting. But they falling like dominoes, the list of those who wrote in trying to deny the election and work to stop the credibility of the election and to deny the election. Those who were prosecuted or being prosecuted in Georgia, they cutting deals like crazy.
But now the secretary, the attorney general for Georgia is looking at the people in Crawford County for some more people that they may be charging from the state, from the attorney general, who is a Republican, that will probably be bringing charges against some more people that was involved in that. Now, let me just tell you what my prediction is, Shannon. Who's going to be the next domino to fall? I think that the lawyer Smith, he's going to be the next domino to fall. I believe he's going to be the next. And then you will see the people from Crawford County, and you'll see David Schaefer and those individuals who was going to have their name as alternative voters for Trump here in Georgia. You'll start seeing them falling one by one because the dominoes are falling, and the people who helped conspire this stuff, they've already said that they were a part of it. So if you are privy to it and help orchestrate it with Rudy Giuliani, right? So under the direction of the former president. So now you're going to see all of these people coming through. Now, as I was saying earlier, now you have the Attorney General, Mr. Carr, who's looking at it. Got letters where Trump wrote these letters and stuff in terms of what they ought to do and find him these votes and do this. I mean, come on, man. This thing is just getting to be really, 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 really real here in Georgia. It's just opening up and opening up and opening up. I mean, that's.
Well, let me say something about that. Let me say something about that. If Jen Jordan had been elected, perhaps that would be the case. I don't know from which political bag Chris Carr is playing out of. I don't know if they're testing something, if this is he and Kemp working on something. but I believe hell would freeze over before they would move forward with that. I think that's conversation and letters and whatnot. And I don't know what Chris Carr's bag is, but Donald John Trump is the presumptive nominee of this election. And unfortunately, this movement, these guys have these R's next to their name, but their base is MAGA. Their base is growing MAGA, and so and we're gonna see how that plays with Kemp, because some folks are misreading things. They say, well, Mr. Jordan had the endorsement. He didn't get the speakership. Well, he's a stuffed shirt. Like, it wasn't about Trump. It was really about him. It wasn't about Trump endorsing him. It was about his colleagues don't like him. Jim Jordan has the same issue in the House. He's got the same issue in the House that what's your guy's name that Ted Cruz has in the Senate. They don't like him. His colleagues don't like him. But when you go up against this MAGA movement uh, within their party, it's quite damaging for them in the long run. And so I would really, I'd have to see them bring bring some charges from the Attorney General's office of the state of Georgia. I
Well,
think Chris Carr is selling wolf tickets on that. Don't know what his plan is,
well,
but I don't think that's going to play for his base.
well, regardless, I believe something's going to happen. Something got to happen. You can't cover up what is being uncovered, right? You can't keep covering up what is being uncovered, right? So here we are. That's coming out with the state attorney general. You got what's going on with Fannie Willis and the DA of Fulton County and the pleas that have already been made, right? The deals have already been cut for testimony. Now you got Mark Meadows on the federal level is asking for immunity for his testimony, limited immunity for his testimony, who was right there with Donald Trump all the way. So you got a lot of stuff that's being uncovered. So I can't see it being not dealt with, because here we go. We're seeing it played out in public view. Before, we couldn't see the federal stuff, right? Because you couldn't see it in the court. Now you're seeing stuff in state court. Now you got a state court district attorney who's coming with that case. Now you have Mrs. Tisha, I can't remember to call her last name right now, the state attorney general
Letitia James.
Tisha James, right? The
Letitia
one that's
James.
in New York, who bring the other civil case against Donald Trump, right? You got
Right. Yeah.
Connors who testifying against him that he did what he did, and him and his son inflating, his asset, how much assets he had. I mean, you got all of this stuff coming, Shanan. I mean, and forget Judge Cannon down there in Florida. She's a Trumper.
I'm with you.
She's
I'm
doing,
with you.
do what now?
I said I'm with you. You're
Yeah.
not only preaching to the choir. You're like a traveling evangelist preaching to the traveling choir.
No.
Not only am I with you tonight, I'm with you every night that you're preaching this thing, right? But what I'm saying is that if you keep looking, you got these cases, and you got the news, and you got Trump going out giving these interviews in the civil case, and Letitia sitting behind him like the Grim Reaper, thinking that she's getting ready to take him down, and she's got a strong case against him. But here's the deal. Look at the polling. The polling is indicating that the Republicans don't, that it's going to be a match between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I hear everything you say, and yet it's not moving the needle a bit. And as an independent, and I'm wondering, where this thing is going to go, and if they're going to be able to stop this MAGA move, or what's going to happen in the long run. Because it seems like when I was a kid, we used to play a game called Pac-Man. Pac-Man ate these Pac-Man pellets, and every time he ate a pellet, he got stronger, and the monster was coming at him, but he ate enough pellets, and he get enough pellets, he get that super pellet, he could go eat the monster. These cases are a monster against him. If it was me or you or anybody else, I mean, who would think that you would have Mitt Romney leaving the party because the party is getting to a place where he's unelectable, and yet a Donald Trump with all of these cases, and yet he's still the litmus test by which whether or not people can move forward within the party that he created, the MAGA Make America Great Again party. So I hear everything you say, and you're 100% right, but it's not working.
Well, let me just say this. Let's go a little further. How many states? I think it's like 16 states now. Colorado, Minnesota, and some other states that are moving to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. To remove him from their ballot to even run in that state. But that move, if one of those states, if two of those states, or three of those states are successful in their bid to get him off the ballot, all of that, what you're saying, is totally irrelevant because he won't even be on the ballot. He won't even be on the ballot because of the 14th Amendment and what it says in that clause, I think it's clause 2 or 3, what says that if you do any kind of sedition against the United States or all of those other things and help and enhance and be involved in it, you can no longer run for public office in the United States. Okay? So, with that being said and that being tested in the courts now in terms of whether or not his name can even be on the ballot, he won't be in a race with Joe Biden. He won't be in a race with anybody. But does it stop the MAGA party? I have to agree with you. No, it may not stop the MAGA party. It may just slow them down. Because let's go back to Project 2025, Shanan. Let's go back to Project 20. Project 2025 by the Republicans and all these 50 conservative groups who have put together this plan or this play as to how they're going to overthrow the government and do away with the Constitution. That's really what's in play. We're looking at Donald Trump, but you got to look at those people, those billionaires and millionaires who are putting money in making sure this plan or play is enacted. So they said straight up, they didn't care if it was Donald Trump or not. Whoever runs for presidency will have to abide by this play. And this play means that they got to take over government by making it by one man and act and have that power, the total power, as of a dictator. So let's take Donald Trump out of the equation now. Let's take that out of the equation. Let's deal with the MAGA party, or the party that you see when you get all 20 of them to say, okay, we're going to go with Mike Johnson, right? We're going with Mike Johnson. Well, somebody is being funded by some of these conservative parties, the Heritage Group, some of these parties that are putting money in through their PAC in their campaign. So their arms have been twisted. Now, if you want to continue to get our money to run and stay in office, then you got to go this way. Let's be clear now. We're talking about lobbies and lobbying group, lobbying people to vote a certain kind of way that they need you to vote in order to carry out their agenda, right? The Koch brothers, right? And all these people putting all the money in it. Let's peel back the real onion. Donald Trump, yeah, he got his cases. Yeah, he's a loudmouth for them. Yes, he's a flag bearer for them. But it ain't about Donald Trump. It's about the Republican conservatives, so are supposed to be conservative, the conservative group who have put this money together that said we're going to take over government, we're going to put a person in there who's going to do our bidding, who's going to run this country, who's going to have sole power to do everything without having any checks and balances.
So you brought up Meadows earlier, and remember Meadows was staff. Chris Carr we brought up. He's a politician. He's still running. He's an elected official. He's running for office. So he's on a ballot, and he's got a trajectory that he's trying to work to stay in electoral politics. I wanted to go back to come forward to what you said, because you talked about the MAGA movement and you say move Trump out, and they say that it's not, and they're saying, the Heritage Foundation saying, look, this is not about Donald Trump. This is about, the Heritage Foundation and its strategy to be able to garner a certain amount of years of conservative control. You go back to Steve Bannon before Donald Trump was elected in 2016, and Steve Bannon said that they had a plan that they would be able to govern for the next 50 years. So we see that. And then you brought up the Colorado and other states. Now we're 13 months out, and from this election, just under going into about you really about just under 13 months out for the election of 2024. And I think that as I keep looking at what we're seeing every day and what they keep projecting down the pipe and how we see it, it kind of reminds me of the Earth is 66 sextillion tons. It spins at 1,037 and a third miles per hour. If it could slow down and perhaps get closer to the sun in the wintertime, it wouldn't be so cold. But it ain't going to happen. And so I see all the plans, but some strange things will happen, I believe, and I'm predicting, with even states that are trying to take him off the ballot. Some strange stuff is going to, some voodoo politics are going to happen between now and next year if you don't see a nominee emerge within that party. And we still don't know if you didn't bring up Mr. Manchin that was thinking about getting into the race as well. I've heard some words about Joe Manchin perhaps jumping in the race, which would be terrible for Biden. I just, Bishop, the math ain't adding up. I hear all the stuff that they're planning. If we could do this, if this could get, we're gonna stop it. But I think that this country needs a whole lot of prayer, because the man told you I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and still get elected. And he said that because he knew about the 2025 when he said it. He knew about Steve Bannon's plan for the next 50. He might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but they showed him how he could truly be a dictator in a democracy. And we're seeing this thing play out. So I think our strategy as independents, that caucus with Democrats, as Democrats and others, is we really need to turn out the vote. And that's what we need to be focused on, because that 2025 plan, they're actually trying to do that. And everything that they're doing, I think you're going to see Letitia James and Mr. Smith and Fann and all of them in Trump's rearview mirror. If we don't stop him at the polls, this man is coming.
Well, I agree we got to vote now. I agree with voting. We got to vote. We got to vote. Everything, with all things being said, the bottom line is we got to turn out and vote like we never voted before. And we got to make sure that the voter integrity is held up and we monitor and watch what's going on during the voting process. But Shanan, we're going to end it right here, though, because we got a lot more we can say. But listen, hey, we want you to share. Well, first, let's subscribe, right? Subscribe to the channel. Like us, then make comments, then share. Won't you do that for us? We'd love to hear from you and get your views and your opinion about what we're saying. Maybe you have another twist on what we're saying. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. We don't care, because we don't do nothing but what, Shanan? Talk what? Straight
talk.
Well, until next
and Bishop,
week.
I want to say happy birthday again. And I don't know if you can see the card here. Can you see the card? There it is.
What about
Happy birthday, man. They don't make them like you anymore.
I'll talk to you later, Shanan. And until next week, this ain't been nothing but Straight Talk with yours to the Greg Fann, Preacher Man, and Shanan E. Jones.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922 at Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.